I am Natalie. In my work as a healer, therapist, and in this podcast, I consult the spirits, guides, and counselors. I have been working this way for over 13 years, and this connection has existed from the day I entered this world. In this podcast, In the Heart of Being, a spiritual journey, the spirits, guides, and counselors connect me to the layers of being, dimensions, and the library of knowledge, where we connect the spirit with the body, which I love to share with you all. My partner in this podcast is José, a very dear colleague, with the right questions and a vibrant energy. Will you join us in our quest, weaving the unknown into the known? So today, José and I are going to talk about the mirror. So what does that mean, the mirror? You know, we can look in the mirror and we think what we see is who we are. But actually, it's just a reflection of who we want to be, you know. It's always interesting because when you look in the mirror, you have a certain view of yourself. But then when someone takes a picture, you think by yourself, really? Is this who I am? You know, we're always surprised about how others truly see ourselves. And when we look in the mirror, in a way, we cannot hide the things that are buried deep inside ourselves. So sometimes we try to fix it by changing our appearance. But the things that need to be seen will always be shown. It doesn't matter what you do. You know, the sadness people have, for example, you will see in their eyes, even if they make them beautiful by some extras, you know. But it is still in their face. And the mirror just wants to show us the pieces that we have not collected and the pieces that wants to be part of who we are. And when we look in the mirror and, you know, allow ourselves to be honest, to see what it wants to show us, we dissolve.
So Natalie, you suggest that it's good to look often in the mirror?
Yes, actually it is. But not by, you know, most people when they look in the mirror, they see their flaws. But when we look in the mirror and we truly look into our own eyes, we look into our soul.
Yeah, they always say, of course, eyes are the
mirror of the soul.
soul.
Yeah. But we often don't look long enough to see our soul just shining into our eyes. Also, you have like this practice that has been done by many people, that you sit in front of each other and you look each other in the eyes for quite some time. And when you do, then after a while, everything starts to fade and you only see the eyes of the person in front of you. And the interesting thing is, like the face starts changing. It's like you see different people in the eyes of the person in front of you. And when you look long enough, even that disappears. And you come into the void of everything that was and will ever be. And this is something that you also can experience when you look into your own eyes. You know, when you worry about life or think you're not good enough or whatever makes you feel small, and you give yourself the time to look in the mirror into your own eyes for quite some time, everything that is bothering you will dissolve. It will disappear. And from that moment on, it is a way to calm yourself. But most people are afraid to look into their own eyes because the first things we see are the pain that we carry, or the sadness that we don't want to see. There is so much more in the eyes. They tell us stories of who we were and where we are going. But most of the times when we talk about the mirror, it's the mirror people are in our lives. The people we meet and the things they say to us. You know, we can become angry about how they treat us or, well, in a way, ignore us, for example. Can make us furious. But the interesting thing is, why does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. Because that I also thought a mirror can also be the other person. And you see things actually which maybe you project or recognize from yourself. Or
yeah, so and sometimes it's not always about the projection, you know, the mirror shows us. But it is something that we can grow from. You know, like being ignored or being neglected or being not understood or, you know, or being put down or it is something that you can be bothered by, but it's also something that you can grow beyond. It shows you something, in a way, can make you feel less, but in the other way, it can transform you. So the mirrors we meet in our lives, It's not, like most people, they, in a way, freeze or dissolve or just take a step back. But the mirrors, the people that are in a way against you, are the ones when you allow yourself to stand up to them, not about fighting or something like that, but just knowing your own strength can make you leap forward. So actually we should welcome the mirrors in our lives because they give us the possibility to move ahead and to let go of who we think we are. Even if everyone seems to dislike us in a way for how we look at life or how we perceive things, it's just a perception of someone else's view of you. It doesn't define you. You are the one that defines yourself. And if you are bothered by the mirror that someone shows you, you are capable of changing it inside of you. The way you respond, the way you react, the way you feel about it. So the mirror gives us always the possibility to become more whole every time. Even if it's the mirror you look upon yourself, you see your own reflection. Or it is the mirror of the society that wants you to be a certain way.
I sometimes wonder because when you look into people's eyes, eyes are always different, the left and the right.
Yeah. Well, the spirits tell me it has to do with the connection they have. Yeah, I have to look at that because it is, how are they saying that? Interesting. They say the left one is from the heart and the right one is from the soul, but that one gets overshadowed by the ego in this life. But the left one is connected to the heart, actually to the feminine energy in a way. And the right one is more the dominant force we experience. Yeah. That's what they tell me.
Yeah, because you sometimes also have that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We all do, we all do. And it's, it's interesting because a face is never symmetrical. Because when it would be, it look really weird if you have like the same sides, They say like it's the soul mirroring itself in the body, and it has a distortion. It's the same way when we look in the mirror, we see it a certain way. When someone takes a picture of us, then you see the distortion because it's not real. It's not live. So you take like a frame of someone. And I believe that's why we don't recognize ourselves most of the times in pictures. Because it's just a frame, one frame of many, And in the mirror, it's a continuous flow of who we are, and the one frame has to do with that kind of energy at that moment, at that particular moment. But when we look in the mirror, it is like the frequency, the energy of all moments together in one. It's different. It's like when we look at a picture. If you see one frame, it doesn't come alive, But when you see all the frames collected after each other, it becomes reality. So I'm asking the spirit, what is the meaning of... what's the meaning of life? Yeah, that's a question we ask a lot as humans, huh? We don't have to think about that. But what's the meaning of looking at ourselves in the mirror? Why would you want to look at yourself that way? Why do you want to see all those parts of yourself? What would we gain? We always think of gaining, of getting, of becoming more, of becoming better. But the mirror inside ourselves and the mirror of the people around us, they just reflect all parts of us. And it's never about good or bad. It's something that I repeat more often. It's never about good or bad. It's just about getting to know ourselves. And looking in the mirror to ourselves makes us become humble and honest. And the parts that we don't want to look at, other people take care of. And they mirror us in the things we do not want to see, or the things we find difficult. Or they don't always show us the things we find difficult, but they always show us things that we admire. Their strength, their aliveness, their humor, And when we start admiring those attributes in others that they mirror to us, we enlighten ourselves with it. But most people, they take it another way, and they think, I don't have that. This person is all of this and I am not. And this is not true, They show us that we can be that part also. Because if we would not have it inside ourselves, it would never inflict us in a way. It would not make a response inside ourselves. I always say to someone, like if you walk down the street and someone says something about you, most of the times you're like, oh yeah, whatever, But if a friend does, then it hurts. Or then you think, oh, I need to do something about it. But then you take it personal. And with taking things personal, you forget the whole picture. Because nothing is ever personal.
I find eyes very interesting. My mother always said, if somebody looks you in the eyes, tells you almost everything about the person. And I think these days, not everybody, when you conversate with people, always look at each other. I think there are a lot of people that can conversate without looking at you. Well, I find it fascinating because I think, indeed, when you look very long into somebody's eyes, what you actually mentioned in the beginning of the conversation, if you would do a practice, like sitting in front of each other and looking without saying something, what you always experience, at least what I do, is first discomfort. You feel very uneasy. But then after a while, it feels like things flow away. And there's a kind of peace or rest in it, which actually maybe is also what you say, the enlightenment, that there's actually, you both are the same, that it flows away.
Yeah.
It gives peace, actually. And I think therefore eyes are important, that you really conversate and look at each other when you conversate.
Yeah, but most people feel discomfort because almost no one looks each other in the eyes. And when you sit in front of each other, then by looking each other in the eyes, you say to the other one, I see you. I see you. And because we have like this busy life, or the way it is organized, we are not used to this kind of energy. And when you are being seen, then you also see yourself. And that's in the beginning is like confronting in a way. And that's why most people feel discomfort in the beginning when they look in each other's eyes. And then the layers dissolve. And then you feel the ease and the comfort of, and actually it's like embracing yourself. By looking into the eyes of the other, you see yourself. Because they see you and you see you. And the other way around. So this is true what your mother says, when you look each other in the eyes, you already know who you are talking to. In a way, you know if you can trust this person or not. Because when they have other things on their mind, you will see it in their eyes. Because they will get nervous in a way and they cannot come to ease. So when we look each other in the eyes, the personality disappears. The person who we think we are, who we need to be. Actually, a whole new space is opening up.
And what is opening up?
Well, actually, that's why I said when you can also practice with this by looking in the mirror and look into your own eyes, then you will see. You will see first you have those layers of personality that come up, that feel the discomfort, and you're thinking, what am I doing here? Why am I looking at myself? And you have you feel uncomfortable, or maybe fear or anger. You see all those things happening in the eyes. But after a while, you go deeper. And you release parts of the personality, and it's like piercing into your own soul. And then the wisdom or the knowledge we talk about becomes available because the personality is fading. And that's why the mirrors in our life, even if we are at ourselves or the people around us, give us the possibility to dissolve something of our personality that is in front of our eyes, that is in front of our heart, of connecting to the higher field of who we truly are. So actually they are a blessing in disguise. Next time, Jose and I will talk about the level of ease. Life can be like the snowball, chaos just swirling all around you. And then slowly all pieces find a new spot. And for a moment, you experience flow and the level of ease. But more about that in our next episode. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the Q&A section on Spotify or one of your favorite podcast apps. And then Jose and I will dedicate 1 or more episodes to the questions and the answers. In the meantime, you can connect with us on natalienevely.nl and on Instagram, In the Heart of Being. Thank you for listening. See you next time.